and I really need your help. I'm making this video because I'm in big trouble and I need to raise money to end it, and I'll gratefully accept as many donations as possible. I don't really know what's possible yet because I have to do this at a time when others are just as deserving and have troubles of their own. As you can see, I'm dealing with a script, and I'm sorry for that. The situation has become an emergency, and there were even obstacles to making this video, so there wasn't time to memorize it. And the situation is so crazy and just so screwed up that I'm afraid that if I don't have a script, I'll start rambling, and then I'll alienate anybody who does want to help me. This is what I have to do, and here's why. It all started 7 years ago. My stepfather died of Alzheimer's, and my mother's cancer came back. I was helping my mother with the housework. I also helped her to take care of an English Mastiff named Widget who has brain damage, and she has been in my care most of the time for her whole entire life. My aunt is an RN nurse, and she was helping to take care of both of them and their medical needs as well. I have medical problems, including arthritis, back and neck and knee injuries. I lost the only stable income that I had. My injuries were too bad for some of my old jobs, and even though I had past experiences for a lot of good jobs, I also had a disrupted education, so it was very hard to move beyond a certain point, and as a result, I have lost everything. 5 years ago, I was finally allowed to go back to college on the governor's fee waivers, so during this whole entire time while I've been struggling with this house, Widget, and the situation, I've been in school. I have a 3.45 GPA and 5 letters of recommendation. If I can survive this, I will graduate next spring with double AA degrees in psychology and communications from OCC College. Sometimes I get food stamps. When I don't, I have to get food donations from the churches. I used to get money by going and getting recyclable cans and bottles out of the trash can, but that situation ended 2 weeks ago and won't be back at all. 4 years ago, my aunt lost her house and moved in with us, which was fine. My parents wanted my aunt and I to inherit everything 50-50 for helping them, so we would have a way to start over again and have a good chance. The problem was that my aunt forced us to take 2 other relatives with her when my mother had limited space and resources. One of them is a convict on a so-called compassionate probation who had previously abused me and other relatives and his child. It's my uncle. After they moved in, they hoarded and trashed the house, and they still do. And it's not just possessions. It's not just that they've turned my family's backyard into a junkyard. They're hoarding animals. There's now 4 dogs, 3 hamsters, a ferret, boa constrictors, and God knows what else in that house. They brought rats back into the house that I had worked to take out of the house, and so during the final days of my mother's life, she was in a darkened bedroom with broken windows, the rats coming in all the time. She also had to put up with my uncle, the convict, on his so-called compassionate probation, still doing drugs and having his whores and junkies in the bedroom regularly, which he has to this day. And one of them befriended my mother and claimed to be helping her clean up the house and then stole $2,000 in family jewelry. These attic guests never pay any rent and just act like they're entitled to take everything. My uncle, my aunt, and their friends gang up on me. They micromanage the situation. They don't respect the previous rules in the house. They physically threatened me. One time they even caused me to lose the only job that I could get on the phone doing something, and now I can't get the job again. But the most disturbing thing that happened is that they got control of my mother's credit card, and twice before she died, in the last year of her life, her identity was stolen and more things were ripped off. My mother died of her cancer on October 4th of last year. She entrusted yet another family member, another uncle, who was a lawyer, with her will. On the day of the funeral, I was given the will in an envelope. I was never seen by anybody again. The new will was attached, claiming that I had been semi-disinherited, despite my mother's telling me up until the last few days of her life that that would not happen. The new will claimed that I was allowed to stay in the house until it sold and get 50% of the house, but that I was semi-disinherited, whatever that means, for being as bad as my other stepbrothers and sister. It said that my aunt and I are a husband and wife team. She is the husband, I am the wife. She has all the power and control, and I have none, and I better go and be a good little wifey and continue to do the housework. The only problem is that my uncle and aunt have so micromanaged and over-controlled things and have abused things that I can't even clean the house outside of the bathroom in my room anymore. This is not what my parents had planned for either one of us. It's not fair to me, and this isn't just about throwing a temper tantrum to get more. This is abuse, and this is not what my mother and my stepfather wanted for us, so I need to get real legal help. And I probably also need to get a private investigator and a forensic psychologist. A forensic accountant, actually. I didn't even know what the hell a forensic accountant or forensic psychologist were until I went through this situation. Again, it's not about asking for a big piece of pie. It's about asking for what was lined up and for things to be fair. I tried to find free counsel for the poor to get this done, and it doesn't exist, and I live in a wealthy community where it's very hard to get help unless you're the criminal. I asked the Dr. Phil show to help me 3 times, and I almost got on the show twice and was rejected both times in different ways over the last 6 years. Now, normally, I wouldn't want to do that because I've been burned by New Agers before, and Dr. Phil is loaded with New Age connections despite his protestations that he's a Christian. But my mother's house was already disrepaired before they moved in, and I would have done anything to have that house back to normal for her. And then after she died, my life was in danger and I needed legal help. But even after I said my life was in danger and my neighbors backed it up, they didn't help me. So Dr. Phil won't help me, maybe you can. I'm going to raise this money and try to get the legal help that I need. Those of you who can do this over the holiday, I would really appreciate your help. There are 2 ways to do this. For those of you who would like to donate by credit card, you can click on the link below to get to my website or look it up on the annotation on the screen. One of the websites will be up today and the other one will be up in about 3 or 4 days, and we'll have a blog with updates to show where things are going. Those who wish to mail a donation by check, money order, or gift cards may do so at this address: Vinyl Solution, care of Ivory Spencer, 18822 Beach Boulevard, Huntington Beach, California, 92646. That's Vinyl Solution, care of Ivory Spencer, 18822 Beach Boulevard, Huntington Beach, 92646. In addition to the money, I am asking for gift cards for things like gasoline, places like Target and 99-cent stores, grocery stores, and fast food places, so that I will have my gas and transportation needs guaranteed while this is going on. Thank you all for listening to me and for doing anything you can to help me out of this situation, particularly during a holiday. And I just want to send out a shout out and a prayer to all people who have cancer or Alzheimer's or who have family members with it. This is a hell from which even sleep is not an escape, and there's not enough things to help people out in this situation. I hope it gets better for you all. Happy holidays, everybody.